Hey guys, welcome back to Relentless, and today I am with Josh, the owner of Burn Bootcamp Matthews, and please pardon the appearance. It just got finished with Ab Day, which is a great workout as always. And yes, you read that correctly. Please stop doing burpees immediately. We're going to shake up the fitness industry, right? So, Josh, tell us a little bit before we get into that big lead-in. Tell us a little bit about what this is behind us. What are you looking at?
So for today, just for tracking reps, a lot of times we have different things that we do in here to keep track of how to push ourselves. So one thing that we do today, we had everybody write down their initials, keeping track of how many reps they got in every round. They're trying to better themselves and make sure that they're pushing themselves to get a couple more reps than they did the last round.
Awesome, because Burn Bootcamp is a very supportive environment.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we want results. Yeah. And it's a great way to help keep yourself on track, to push yourself a little more, and encourage others, and be complimentary of them when they do a good job. So with Burn, the reason I like it, as a person that knows the anatomy and is very trained in watching how people move, one of the hardest things for me to do is actually watch people work out, because I'm like, stop doing that. You're hurting yourself. So with the burpees, I know it's everyone's go-to move in fitness. They throw it in everywhere, but you can actually hurt yourself doing burpees.
Very much so.
Do them the wrong way. You're going to agitate something that you may already have wrong, like an SI joint compression, if you have a wrist issue. So yes, it's a very good functional movement, but we have to be watching how it's being done. 100%. And that's why I want to bring people to you who are known for watching form. So if you have a trainer that's just throwing things at you and not correcting you in your movement pattern, you need to be a little more selective in who you're working with. So tell us a little bit about how, you have a class of upwards of 40 people sometimes. How is it possible for you to keep everybody on track, and what is the little keywords that you use for them to help keep them moving correctly?
It's a great question. Please pardon my voice as well as my appearance today. But so especially the more people you have, of course, there's more to keep track of. There's more to watch. There's more to look for. So whatever movement you're going into, whether it is a burpee or a push-up or a squat, of course, there's a few key things that you look for in each movement. You work for, first, to keep your clients safe, and then to keep the movement effective. As long as everybody's safe, you can work to cue a little bit differently. So you may say things like, I'm sure you hear everybody say, engage your core. A lot of people don't really understand what that means. It's a broad definition if you're not putting that into play. So bringing your belly button into your spine, or pulling your shoulders back if you're going to do a bicep curl. Wherever you're really working to hit on your body, you want to isolate that body part. You want to, it may be a slow and controlled movement. It may be something like burpee that you're working to, it's a full body movement, but you're also working to boost your heart rate. So if we're doing a burpee for heart rate, for example, it's faster, quicker. We're doing them for quantity and to boost your heart rate, as opposed to a slow and controlled movement like a squat press. So for a burpee, we want to keep our elbows tucked in, drop into the floor, and pop in as quickly as we can. One thing that you want to look for immediately is make sure you don't want anybody's shoulders ever driving, or their elbows driving above their shoulders. So you want to keep those elbows tucked just underneath your wrist and your shoulders to protect, of course, your rotator cuff, your labrum, everything in there that can be easily torn up by performing a movement wrong.
Yes. So we're talked about this for a little bit. Now we're going to see it in action. All right. So first, Josh is going to demo it for us so you can see it done correctly.
Tell me about this.
With someone that, absolutely.
I didn't agree to
demo,
this.
I mean, we have to see it done right by the professional. And then we're also going to go through a couple of demos with me doing them, and things that happen like a lot with people that are doing them incorrectly, where you are going to be injuring yourself. So stay tuned for that, and we'll keep you on track to stay healthy and do things correctly.
Here we're going to go over a couple common mistakes that people make, when we're doing burpees or when they are doing burpees, and a couple things to look out for, whether you are a fitness professional or you are somebody who's interested in just trying some things at home and staying active. So Sandra's gonna go through a couple of our burpees, and I'm gonna try to catch and point out what it is that she could correct, fix, do wrong, and best keep her safe and effective. Let's see him, Sandra. All right, so there, as you can see, keep going, you can see that she's more up on her fingertips here as opposed to down on the palm of her hand. This puts an indirect pressure on your wrist, unwanted pressure as well. There's a couple more modifications that you can do like this, but remember, you would never be up here on your fingertips as you're doing a burpee. When she drops down, she can roll to her fist, which applies a direct pressure from her wrist up to her elbow, up to her shoulder, which is a much safer and a much more beneficial modification rather than having your wrist rolled back or up on your fingertips. Let's see a couple more, Sandra. Awesome. Okay, so if you guys notice the way that Sandra brought her knees up, instead of bringing them up and out to her elbows or outside of her elbows, she brought them in and tucked. So here, not only you're working your hips in the improper fashion, you're up on your toes, working your Achilles and stretching in an improper way, your knees are buckling. Something that you never want to do is buckle your knees anytime you are in the gym, at home. You don't want that throwing your hips off. And if you've ever met Sandra, she's all about alignment. So make sure that you want to stay square, have a square base, and when you bring your feet up, stay nice and square and drive those knees just outside of your elbows. Perfect. Awesome. Jump in when you come up. Now on this last example here, Sandra is not quite going all the way down. Notice how her hips are up. Her feet are still shoulder width apart. Her hands are in a good position now. But now we want to drop her hips in order to work your core, keeping her belly button tucked to her spine, nice and tight. She's going to pop those feet up and jump into a nice safe burpee. Awesome. Now let's do one full burpee all the way down. Perfect. Looks great.
All right.
Good job.
Thank you.